Should the Buffalo Bills make a move for Richard Sherman? All coming up on today's edition of the Bills Mafia Report. Yo ho ho, Bills Mafia. Welcome to yet another edition of the Bills Mafia Report. As always, your host, Dan Mitchell. Say that you're new here. Once again, my name is Dan Mitchell, and I'm an NFL and Buffalo Bills YouTuber. If that is your cup of tea, some slightly over mediocre content about the NFL and the Buffalo Bills, smash the f out of that subscribe button, baby. If not, Nathan Peterman's going to be the starting quarterback of your team next year, and we don't want that. Bills Mafia, y'all did read the title of this video correctly. We are going to be diving into the fact of, should the Buffalo Bills make a move on Richard Sherman, right? So many of us have been obsessed with the idea of, yo, let's go after Zach Ertz, a tight end, right? But a lot of people, while it has been mentioned, it really hasn't been focused on. So I want to talk about why I think that if it was exclusively up to Sean McDermott, that Richard Sherman would be the guy that we would bring onto this team with the newfound cap room created by the most recent Stephon Diggs contract restructure. And so before we dive into the specifics, I do want to go ahead and just give a couple of announcements. Number one, I am giving away either a PS5 or an Xbox Series X on July 2nd. And in order to enter, it's super easy. You need to be a subscriber to this YouTube channel, and you need a screenshot proof of that and DM it to me over on Instagram at RealDanMitchell and follow me there as well. And voila, you now have an opportunity of bringing home a next gen console. And number two, I have a couple of shout outs for my most recent Patreon contributors and YouTube members. Coming in hot on the rookie level of YouTube membership, we're talking Jay Morrow. Jay, thank you so much, bro. You have no idea how much this helps out the channel. And then my most recent Patreon contributor is going to be Hunter Shepard. Guys, once again, thank you so much for the support. You have no idea how much this means to me and helps the channel to continue to grow. Ladies and gentlemen, you all know the best way to support this channel is simply by smashing the f out of that like button. But say you ever want to go the extra mile, becoming a YouTube member or becoming a Patreon contributor are the next best thing. You get cool little shout outs on videos like this, and then other really cool priorities as far as call-ins, a exclusive fantasy football draft, whatever. Let's go on ahead and knock that out. And if not, completely cool. I'm just thankful that you guys watch my shit on a daily basis. So all right, Bills Mafia, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I know that once the news broke that Stephon Diggs ended up restructuring his contract, that a lot of speculation started circulating, particularly on the Zach Ertz realm. We all know that Zach Ertz is not wanting to be in Philly. I'm pretty sure he has asked for a trade, but no team has bitten quite yet. And as we know, the OTAs have already started and this move has not been made. He's been one of the names mentioned, but the second name mentioned is one that I find extremely intriguing, and that is none other than former cornerback of the San Francisco 49ers, Seattle Seahawks, Richard Sherman. Now, like I said, if this was exclusively up to Sean McDermott, he is a defensive-minded type head coach. And if this was his call and his call only, and he had the choice between Zach Ertz or Richard Sherman, he would pick Richard Sherman. A lot of people don't want to talk about the fact that when it comes to our defense, while our secondary is great, Poyer, Hyde, of course Trey White, our CB2 is good, don't get me wrong. I think that Levi Wallace, for being an undrafted free agent, has really come into his own and has demonstrated a lot of growth throughout the past couple of years that he has been in the league. Dane Jackson has shown some promise. The only issue is with him is that we have a very, very small sample size at this point, so we don't know whether or not that can translate into a full 17-week long regular season. So the question marks are absolutely just flying everywhere. Is that enough for CB2? Now, I have full confidence in either of those two gentlemen continuing to maintain that role. But if Richard Sherman comes to this team, this is going to instantly make our secondary and defense and team better. And so really looking at Richard Sherman's stats, last year, as we all know, he ended up getting injured after about 5 games. But looking at whether or not that Richard Sherman is starting to decline in his overall career, it's going to be hard to say, because in 2019, the year where they ended up going to the Super Bowl, the Niners that is, Dude, man, had a hell of a year, Pro Bowl year, as a matter of fact. And here's just a quick snapshot of some of the stats that this dude put up during that Super Bowl year. Most notably, a 62.3 completion rate when targeted by opposing quarterbacks, and a amazing, crazy 63 QB rating when targeted amongst opposing quarterbacks. This guy clearly has a lot of gas left in the tank. He only gave up 1 touchdown in 2019. And now in 2020, obviously his stats did take a dip, but a lot of that had to do with the fact that he really only played 5 games. Like the rest of the 49ers defense, who was essentially in body bags at one point, Richard Sherman didn't really have any favors once he was healthy. He ended up giving up 4 touchdowns. A lot of that probably had to do with overall defensive scheme. They probably had second, third string players playing in the safety positions. Maybe they weren't getting enough of a pass rush, essentially making him less productive. But if you were to take Richard Sherman from the 2019 caliber of play that he put out there and you put him with our defense already, who supposedly has already addressed our pass rush issue with a bunch of draft picks addressing the defensive end position, overall defensive line, you put him in with the secondary that we already have in place with our safety tandem, with Trey White, maybe even Taron Johnson working out of the corner slot, I think Richard Sherman would be an absolute massive addition to this Buffalo Bills team. Now, you look at the rest of the AFC, right? Everyone has been absolutely obsessed with the fact that the Tennessee Titans ended up getting Julio Jones, right? Tremendous wide receiver. And now you look at the Tennessee Titans, they have a pretty scary offense. The New England Patriots, they ended up getting some of the best tight ends the league has to offer. The question is still whether or not that there's a quarterback that can give them the ball and be able to make plays. But regardless, you still have the Chiefs, and you have some pretty high-powered offenses on the AFC that is going to present a challenge for the Buffalo Bills to take that next step, go to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl. So if Zach Ertz is not an additional weapon to the Buffalo Bills, we might as well add to our secondary, especially since we're going to be going up against some pretty talented pass catchers in the AFC this year going into it. Richard Sherman and Trey White on opposite sides of the field would be absolutely scary and would take a lot of pressure off of our offense. Even though that last year our offense proved that they thrive under pressure, they'll still put 40, 50 points up on fools 9 times out of 10. But cementing our secondary along with the proposed improvements in our pass rush, a player like Richard Sherman would get us back to a 2019 type defense. And could you imagine if we had a team that had a 2019 caliber defense and a 2020 caliber offense? This year in 2021 is probably even going to be better. Dude, there's no doubt in my mind that that cements us in as a Super Bowl favorite. Now, why a team hasn't picked up Richard Sherman, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe a lot of people are just completely nervous about the fact that he only played 5 games last year. Maybe some people think that he's starting to lose a lot of his prime. He's an older guy. I'm pretty sure he's 32 years old. Hold on. And so he's 33 years old. So, I mean, he's definitely getting pretty old for a cornerback. But in 2019, he has proved that he is still pretty damn effective once he ends up coming out there. According to Spot Track, with the additional cap room that was created when Stephon Diggs restructured his contract, Richard Sherman and Zach Ertz theoretically would cost about the same for a 1-year deal. Dumb Mafia, do me a favor, leave a comment. What do you think about this potential Richard Sherman signing? Would you prefer him over Zach Ertz? I really want to hear your thoughts on this. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. I will see you tomorrow. And before I let you go, always remember, let's go Buffalo.